Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to our another weekly episode of A Valid Podcast. Thank you, of course, for joining us, and we are about to start recording. And of course, here on our Facebook and YouTube live streams, if you're watching, feel free to comment and ask questions throughout the live stream. And then during our show, of course, we're doing this through Zoom. So if any background noise does pop up, we'll make sure to mute everyone and bring back speakers individually. Now, if we are all ready, we are recording and we will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, I'm Darah Thompson, and this is a Valid Podcast. I am a light skinned Black girl with blue glasses, brown curly hair, and a purple and white snakeskin dress on. And I'm joined by my sister, Alana Gibbs.
Hi, I'm Elena. I am a brown skinned Black girl with curly hair, blue, blue top, white stripes, blue glasses.
We have a great show for you today. We're going to have a conversation. We're going to get to know the crew of a Valid Podcast a little bit better, some of our hosts and analysts. We're also going to get a great tip from Erin Gannon.
I'm really excited to find out what her tip is for today.
Me too. And then we have a great segment with our associate producer, Francesca and John. Francesca wrote an amazing piece about different technology that was created for people with disabilities, but we all benefit from.
Like,
Texting.
what?
Can you imagine life without texting?
No, I cannot. I send about 1 million texts every day.
I know. Curb cutouts.
What? Oh, hey, that's a good one.
I know. Pushing strollers, pushing your bikes.
Carts.
Oh, yeah. All amazing.
Where did you see this? Where is this article? I feel like I need more. I want more.
Well, I saw it on ADA Pittsburgh, but John Miller, our reporter, he is actually going to interview Francesca, which should be very interesting.
Yes, Francesca's the best.
I know. John, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm John Miller. I'm a white Belgian American man with a beard and my own eyeglasses and wearing a blue shirt today. People with disabilities live in the same world that everybody else does. So it's no surprise that inventions like the text message, the Segway, curb cutouts, and even eyeglasses started out as ways of making the world more accessible for people with disabilities. And Francesca has reported a story on this phenomenon, which even has a name, the curb cut effect. Francesca, can you tell us more about this?
Yeah, so I'm Francesca. I am a white woman with brown hair and brown eyes, and I'm wearing clear glasses and a white and blue striped dress today. So this story I reported in partnership with Unabridged Press and Public Source for ADA Pittsburgh in honor of the 30th anniversary of the ADA. Um, and so, like you mentioned, John, it's hard to imagine the world without those things like curb cuts, right? But we forget that disabled people fought to have curb cuts put in their cities, and they were really revolutionary to the accessibility for wheelchair users. But like Darren and Elena pointed out, they helped more people than that. They helped mom pushing strollers and people rolling luggage and even skateboarders. So this was actually written about in length by the national equity advocate Angela Glover Blackwell. And what I read from her, she explained that this is an example of the curb cut phenomenon because it reinforces that investment in one minority group can cascade beyond that and that community to contribute to broader well-being for everyone. So in the article, I mentioned a couple examples. A place that we see this a lot is actually in the kitchen. So things like pull down shelving and motion censored faucets, but also kitchen tools. So anytime you walk into a store today, you'll see can openers and vegetable peelers with wider gripped, softer handles. And those were actually originally made to help people with arthritis. But doesn't it make sense that it would help all of us?
Absolutely. And it's a reminder that we're all disabled in different ways and that we can all benefit from a world that's more accessible, right?
Yeah, I really liked the quote by designer Dan Formosa in my article. He said, design can include or exclude people. If you're alienating people who have physical challenges, it's a form of segregation. Disability is determined by design. And I really liked that point because it really serves that. When we are mindful of the design of things, we can actually help more people to live a more equal life. And I also spoke with Rory Cooper. He is the director of the Human Engineering Research Lab at Pitt, and his team develops robotic limbs and wheelchairs and other mobility devices. And he was actually involved in the original invention of something called the iBot, which was able to climb stairs and traverse snow. And what's interesting is that gyroscope technology that allowed the chair to balance on two wheels was actually recycled to create the Segway. You would have never thought.
That's fascinating. And people can read your story where?
At adapittsburgh.com.
Well, thank you for that. That's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah, thanks. I think the important thing to keep in mind is that when we open our eyes to these things that we often take for granted in our lives, we can see just how important that disability technology and evolvements from the Americans with Disability Act actually help everyone day to day. So,
And
um,
it's a special thing about America too. I grew up in Belgium and in the 80s, and there were no curb cutouts at all. So when I came to the States as a kid, this was something that was unique and special later on.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't remember a time without curb cuts, but as some of our team members can probably explain, it's transformed their lives. And it's really important to just take a look and look at these things and see how um, just the evolution can really create a more equal world for everyone. So yeah, take a
Fascinating.
read of the story.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So before we move on to the next segment, I'd like to let you know where a Valid podcast comes from. The show and the All Abilities Media Project are a public-private collaboration. They are co-produced by Unabridged Press and the Center for Media Innovation at Point Park University, that's in downtown Pittsburgh. And support for our work is provided by the FISA Foundation, the Pittsburgh Media Partnership, and other funders. So you can learn more at avalidpodcast.com. Excuse me. So I think Darah and Alana are going to join us and with our disability analyst, Alisa Grishman, to talk more about what their disability has given and taken away in their lives, just as disability technology has. Go ahead, guys.
Thanks, Francesca.
Thanks.
That's very interesting information. Um, didn't I'm glad that all of those things have come about because we really needed the can opener. I I honestly could not live without text messaging, seriously. And a voice to text is my jam. It doesn't always come out the best when I always have to check it to make sure it's right,
Yeah.
but I use it a lot.
And it's an interesting point because we talk about the social model of disability and how your disability doesn't come from something about you, it comes from the world around you. So, like in a world full of ramps and automatic doors, I'm not disabled because I can get into every building with my wheelchair. And so my disability comes from the lack of accommodation. So it's interesting to think about that in terms of glasses, text messaging, and curb cuts. So
Right,
Yeah.
for
anyway,
sure.
I've been really enjoying actually all the stuff on adapittsburgh.com. I was listening to your podcast earlier, and so I wanted to bring that up because, you know, we all have, in common the fact that we have invisible disabilities, the fact that we were diagnosed with our disabilities later in life.
Hmm.
You two both talk about that in that. Oh God, that was a powerful episode. I recommend it. But
Thank
Thanks.
you.
something I want to ask you, because we've kind of touched on this, but we've never talked in depth about it, is disability pride and what that means to us. And so I wanted to start out throwing it to you. You know, do you feel pride in or because of your disabilities?
That is a good question. So I feel pride now. In the beginning, I didn't. Um, it took me a hot minute to get there because my disability is multiple sclerosis.
Mhm.
And for a while, like when I heard that, I didn't think of it as a disability. I just thought it was something that I had. Like, oh, I have a cold. Oh, I have MS. Then I learned more and did more research and heard a lot of negative stuff. Then I heard a lot of positive stuff. And it was the positive stuff that made me say this isn't probably a club that I would necessarily want to be a part of, but I'm in it and go orange. We're gonna, do the
Right.
thing, right? Uh, it just, I don't know. I just felt like, I want to be an example for the people who are not proud, who are feeling bad about it, who don't have somebody who kind of looks like them to be like, oh, well, she has it and she can do blah, blah, blah. So, hey, I'm going to try to, do it too. So, I don't know if that
I-
really answered the question, but
Oh,
that's
it
what I
did,
got.
because I have multiple sclerosis as well. So, go orange, which for people not familiar, all the ribbons, different diseases have different colors, and MS is loudly and proudly very, very orange.
Hmm.
Um, and, for me at first, oh, I had this fatalistic attitude towards everything that was going on, and I almost acted as if I was dying constantly,
Yeah.
Mm.
and it took a long time to both come to terms with it, but then to realize how much power I have, being part of this community, because,
Yes.
disabled people are fierce as hell.
Hmm.
We have to be fierce, and I consider myself pretty awesome. I
You
know,
are
I'm
pretty
full of
awesome.
myself.
And I think you're
I
pretty great too.
Yeah. I was really
like
feeling
AG,
that
always
blue
great.
hair. I was loving the blue hair. I usually rock blue hair myself, so whoop, whoop.
but all the things that I think are great about myself, the work that I do, the people I help, I never would have done if I weren't disabled. So, like, for me, that's my pride in being disabled, is the fact that it has made me, I'm awesome because of my disability and not despite it or in spite of it. So, I don't know, Darah, do you have similar experience?
I do. So not only do I now have pride, but I feel like my sister has so much pride in my disability. So I was diagnosed with bipolar in my late 20s, and I wasn't proud. I was ashamed and embarrassed. But then I found awesome rock stars that also had bipolar disorder. And then I claimed it as my superpower. And I claimed how many people that I could help and impact. And I just went on a tear. I'm like, I'm going to have this conference. I'm going to have this conference. And she and my family, they got proud. Um, she used to call me down to her beauty shop and be like, I need you to talk to this person, I need you to help this person, we need to do this for this person. um and in that, I was able to take how messed up my life was and turn it into my mission.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I started two companies all around it, all around helping and supporting folks with disabilities. So yeah, and it's like, thinking back, it's insane to me because when I was in the seventh grade, an interpreter came to my church and I said, oh, I want to learn sign language. And then they said, oh, there is a slew of other disabilities. And I said, oh, that's what I want to do when I grow up. And then lo and behold, I went from working in the field to working in the field as one of its members, which it's awesome and amazing.
Isn't it great? Like I always knew that disability existed, and even when I was first diagnosed with MS and I had some symptoms, but was pretty well hidden and I didn't quite consider myself disabled yet, you know, it I after I kind of accepted the idea of disability and became kind of loud and proud, it's amazing how much my friends too have really woken up to
Yes.
Yeah.
disability. Like, right? I get text messages from people like I get messages from people I've known, since college on Facebook and I haven't talked to in 10 years saying, "Hey, after seeing all your posts, they messed up this thing at a sidewalk cafe in my neighborhood and I wrote to my council person. This is a true story." And it's like this is incredible and it just makes me so proud of being able to make an impact on the world. It's such an awesome feeling.
Right. It's definitely a go team type of thing.
Right?
So when I did my first MS walk, well, we did our first MS walk in, I believe, 2017. So I
Mhm.
was diagnosed in 2016, 2017. My Wrangler, because everything I get wrangled into, it's because of this one. But she was like, "Oh my gosh, there's the MS walk. We have to do it." I was like, "I don't know. I'm kind of tired." She was like, "They give you a medal." I was like, "We're in. We're doing it." Accessories, I'm all about it. But like when we decided to walk, I was like, "Hey, we're doing this walk." It started out with like 10 people. Then it was like 20 people. I think our last walk we had 30 people that were just the A team with our glittery shirts and we were marching proud and
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, like I it was because in the beginning I was like, I don't know anybody else who has this. What am I going to tell my family? What am I going to tell my clients? Should I tell my clients? Are they going to
Uh-huh.
keep coming to me if they think, oh, well, she's sick, so maybe I need to find another nail tech to go to. Um, but when I started telling people, when I got okay with it with myself, then I started telling people. Then I just started sharing. Like, don't
Yeah.
mess with me
Oh
today.
my
I'm
god.
having an MS day.
Same. Like my job, I worked in an outpatient psychiatric clinic and I worked with doctors who understood MS, but I didn't tell anyone for the first 3 years that I worked there. So, yeah, once I started talking about it, it became easier to talk about and like I was diagnosed in 2001.
Okay.
I was a baby. I was 19. And I will say I am super proud of my first MS walk. We raised $19,000.
Oh my
Wow, that's
goodness.
awesome.
Wow.
Woo!
That
Good
was
job.
2002. We got the university on board and we had fundraisers at the university. So
Woo, go
uh
Team Orange.
that's my claim to fame. And now I did do so before I got my wheelchair, when I had just my walker, I still ran an MS walk team, but there was no way I could do any part of the walk. And so I sent the rest of my team off walking. I stood at the finish line with a giant sign that said, "Thank you for walking for me."
Oh,
I
Oh,
got so many hugs. It
oh,
was
you just gave me all the
the
feels right
best day.
now.
It was the best day because, like, people are doing such great things to help me. And of course, I want to say thank you. So, thank you for everyone who walks for anything.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
oh
Yeah.
my God.
I didn't
But,
realize it would be such an emotional thing to
yeah.
walk over that finish line. Like even though at the time, I mean, not at the time, I have the ability to walk.
Mhm.
So walking across that finish line when there were so many other people who couldn't just was so overpowering and I was like, man, these are my people. I found my people. Yeah, it was something.
Yeah, and I still have days where it gets so overwhelming and I think all of us feel that way, especially disabled people where like it is kind of hard to find that pride because you feel kind of smushed down by it cuz like I know I have a lot of days where I'm just in pain and there's
Mhm.
no other part of my existence. So I don't know if you guys have things like that, but like I think what keeps me going is having friends like you where I know that I can talk about this sort of thing and be open and get that support. So I don't know if you have any either experience with that or advice for anyone listening who might be feeling that, but you know.
So, yeah, I would definitely say get your person or people who, like for me with my MS, I have days where like it hurts to simply like lift my head off the pillow. And then the
Mhm.
thought to have to like, oh, you have to now propel yourself and get showered and go to work and, do all these things, where I can call up my sister, or now I can call you and say, hey,
Awesome.
I'm having a rough day and I'm exhausted. And they're not going to say, oh, well, I'm tired too, I didn't get any sleep tonight. That are gonna, just
Just
say,
say I love you.
right,
Mhm.
right. So definitely that would be it's find your person or people who will be there for you regardless, and yeah, lean on them. Let them
Yeah.
help you.
Yeah. And
Mhm.
that's a tough one, letting your tribe support you, and being honest when you have tough days. There were times where I wasn't very honest, and then I would go MIA, and they would call like Darah alerts. Where is she? And I would start this phone tree to figure out like where I was, because I just wouldn't be doing well. And I would just be off doing who knows what, who knows where.
Mhm.
Um, but then when I found my tribe and I was able to lean on them, and sometimes with my bipolar, I don't know when I'm not doing well. Um,
Your
Sometimes it's
tribe
pretty
does.
obvious. So, like when I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I haven't slept in 3 days. Oh, I don't think I'm doing well. But sometimes there's other things that aren't so obvious. So I have people in my life, my sister, my husband, who will call me out or who will call a doctor and be like, hey, she's not doing so hot.
Mhm.
So I'm going to ask you a big question here, and this is kind of like a deep, hard question because we've talked a lot about disability pride. Uh, but I am a white woman who's able to like focus on just disability. But as fabulous women of color, you have both disability pride and Black pride. And how does that play together? Does it play well? Are there ever challenges with that?
Lots of
So,
challenges.
so my personal experience, I was told numerous times that Black people don't get mental illnesses.
Oh
Um,
Lord.
yeah.
True story.
Yeah. I was told, oh, I just needed more Jesus. And that was the issue. I just needed more Jesus.
Pray it out.
Yeah. And I'm a religious person. Like I've been in church since I was a kid. I have a solid relationship with God. So that was hurtful. Um, yeah, so finding your tribe and your voice within your community, um, can be challenging, but you just have to unfortunately look. Or you have to find good people, to help you look when you can't look. So my pastor, I was in Chicago when I got diagnosed, and then I moved back to Pittsburgh, because I just wasn't able to manage my life in Chicago. And my pastor in Pittsburgh really stepped up, um, to find those voices for me and to find that support, because there's just cultural difference. Every culture is a little different. um, so for me it was challenging, but now I have, I found my people, I found my role models, and I'm like, oh yeah, okay,
I think
okay.
even within our own family unit, it was, you know,
Yeah.
oh, that's not a thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you just need to rest more.
Hmm.
Oh, you're exercising too much. You're working too much. You just need to take it easy.
I was even told I listened to country music, and that's why I was
Oh
sad.
yeah, that was yeah.
I I've been told by family members to try yoga multiple
Oh,
times.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
with you. At least they
yeah.
haven't done kale yet, but
Yeah.
yoga
Right.
yoga
Right.
cures all.
Right.
Yeah.
And so like it's very hard when like you feel like the people who should be supporting you, like other Black people, and they don't. It's tough. It's very tough. So that's when I think you gotta dig a little bit deeper in your own self if you can, and pull those bootstraps up and go find your people.
Yeah, like for me it's so we'll just add a little trigger warning that we're going to talk about some deep topics right now. So I used to self-harm for years, for about 14 years, and finding people of color that want to admit that they self-harm is very challenging. I used to run a support group in Squirrel Hill, and people would want to talk to me on the side. They'd come before group or after group, but they wouldn't want to come into group. And I was like, no, girl, it's for you too. Like, come on, like you can talk about it. And
That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Share and get better.
Yeah. So we're really excited to be a part of this podcast so we can be, maybe somebody can hear this and say, oh, look at those two Black girls. Oh, we're like them.
They're a little wild.
They're down for the cause.
Hell yeah.
Right. So, Alisa, what would you tell your MS, good or bad?
Stop. Like, don't get me wrong. I have so much pride in who I've become because of my MS. And so I would tell my MS, weirdly enough, I would say thank you for making me, strong and fierce and independent. But you can stop now. I'm already strong and fierce and independent.
Right.
It hurts sometimes. And, you hear with MS, there's kind of static versus dynamic disabilities. And static is, you break, you break your leg, and until it's healed, you're on crutches. Nothing's getting better or worse. Whereas MS is all over the place and kind of constantly mourning things that go away and celebrating things that come back. And so, I would love to tell my MS, it's okay to just chill, calm down. But
yes.
no,
I
think I'd say thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. I can definitely relate to that. I often people, because people will tell you, oh, just be strong. You're strong enough to get through this. You're strong enough to handle it. No, I don't want to be strong anymore. Just let me be, and that's all. I don't need any more strength. Please do not pray for me to be strong. I got it. I don't need that anymore. Pray for something else, like $1 million or anything else. But yeah, I think I would tell my MS, yeah, I'm with you. Take a chill, and like people say, not today, Satan, not today, MS. Like, I got stuff to do. I want to wear these cute shoes. I don't have time to be wobbly. I picked out this cute outfit. Not today. But yeah, I have, but it has also allowed me to find a piece of myself that I thought was lost. This, bold, I'm not taking your mess part of myself that I used to have. And now, when you see those shirts that say, my nerves are bad, don't get on my nerves, like those types of things. Yeah, I don't have time for this nonsense because I don't know if this is going to be a good day or a bad day. So I'm just going to roll with it. And if you get in my way, I will cut you.
My shirt is the only good thing about MS is zombies don't want my brains.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is awesome.
That is a really good one.
That is awesome.
What would you tell your bipolar?
I would tell my bipolar, can I just be hypomanic all the time without all the other stuff? Yeah, so I look at my bipolar as kind of like a superpower. because sometimes I can get on a roll and be like, yeah, I haven't slept for a couple days and it's awesome and I'm good. But then there's like that cliff. If I could just like manage that and bottle that,
Yeah.
just that little bit, it would be good and never have to get depressed or go be manic for too long. I would be like, hey, can we bottle some of this up? But I would also probably tell it thank you because you have become a lot more compassionate and patient with
I have.
people because of me.
I have.
A lot more.
I have.
A lot more. My husband is a lot more understanding, a lot more. What? Oh, they can't do that to those people. What's going on? So
Yeah.
he's gotten quite feisty.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
like won't put up with. Yeah.
Well, yes. So when people will use bipolar to describe the weather, or a toddler who's having a tantrum, oh, they're just bipolar. I
Yeah.
get real mad, like real mad. Or when somebody is having a conversation with me and they're like, oh, she's just bipolar. Is she? Is she really bipolar? Does she have a diagnosis?
Yeah.
Are they being treated? Is she safe? So like that's where like oh my gosh, are they really? Is it okay? How are things going? Do we need to call someone?
We could do an entire show on misconceptions, which
Oh,
maybe we
yeah.
will at some point, but
Yes. What it really is compared to what people think it is,
Mhm.
compared to
Right.
what people like, it's, yeah,
Right.
it's,
Well, girls, this was an absolutely fabulous conversation.
it was.
Indeed.
Like this was good times. Like we're gonna have to do like coffee or booze or something once COVID's over.
Happy hour.
Yes. We're going to have some real life hangouts.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely.
Real world.
Real life hangouts, definitely.
Well,
Indeed.
so right now we're gonna see what Miss Francesca's up to and get Erin on the line and have share our tip of the week. Hey, Francesca and Erin.
Hi, everyone. Darah, Alana, Alisa, thank you so much. That was such a compelling conversation. And I think I learned a lot, and we can all learn a lot about, just listening to each other's stories. I have Erin with me.
I'm here.
Erin,
Yes,
you're
I'm
here? You got your video? Great. Erin, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
No problem.
Yeah, I'm so glad for you to be here. So I know that you work at Achieva, and since the pandemic began, you've been sharing on Facebook Erin's tip of the day, which I think is really awesome because we all need a little spirit lift in these times. But I understand that you have a special tip for us today on a Valid podcast.
I do.
Do you mind sharing that?
No problem. My tip for today: friends become chosen family, always there for each other, no matter what.
That's so true. Erin, did you realize that that's exactly what Darah, Alana, and Alisa were talking about finding the people in their lives that support them and lift them up? Why is that tip important to you, Erin?
For me, it kind of through everything I've been through, it's been kind of hard. So I found this on my own and writing it down in my words, no matter, because I've been through a lot. This is
Yeah.
really important to me, but that's why I chose this one.
Thank you so much for sharing that tip with us. And we look forward to hearing more in upcoming episodes, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to move on to our calendar. Erin, thanks again for being here. An upcoming calendar event we have is Disability and Disclosure. It's a free online session that looks at what you can disclose and what you should not discuss with a potential employer. That's from the Employment Agency at Rochester Works in upstate New York. That takes place that takes place on Thursday, August 13th, 10 to noon, and you can register for the link on Eventbrite, but we'll also put that info on our website. So you can look forward to that, and I think that'll be a great resource for anyone listening or even our crew here. And so, yeah, thank you so much for being with us.
Hey, thanks, Francesca. We just wanted to thank everybody for listening. This is a valid podcast. I hope you guys got some useful information we enjoyed sharing with you. We want to remind you to please be gentle with yourselves and kind to others.
Valid Podcast is produced by Unabridged Press and the Center for Media Innovation at Point Park University. I'm Darah Thompson, and this is my sister, Alana Gibbs. Nick Ruffalo engineered our stream. Our producers are Francesca Dabecco and Nick Tamarello. Executive producers are Jennifer Sweat Jordan and Andy Conti. You can listen to this and other episodes of our show on Apple Podcast, Google, or Spotify every Friday morning. We'll be happy if you leave us your feedback in the form of a review. If you'd like more information, you can go to avalidpodcast.com.